All right. Long time since I made a video, but want to make this because I thought it was cool. Based off the title, you can tell it's about YouTube TV campaigns. Most of the time, I'm just going to get straight into it. Again, nothing to sell you guys or anything. I just want to put out cool marketing stuff that I'm finding as I'm building different businesses. So for this one, what I tested was obviously since the Super Bowl, I'm sure everybody saw the QR code ad from Coinbase. So I wanted to test something. It was actually before they did this that I started testing it. But we found so there's obviously traditional TV, there's OTT TV, right, which is over the top television. Going to be testing that soon with direct response stuff. So I'll kind of get some results for you guys probably in the next like 3 months or so on that. Because the thing with those is those are expensive, just like traditional TV. There's definitely like the minimum you can spend with the agency that I'm going with. It'll be like $10K a month on it. It's the minimum as a test. Again, you don't really know with that kind of stuff, like, hey, how are you going to get a return? Also, you get a really short slot. You get a 30-second slot. A lot of things about that. But then there's this other part of TV. So there's traditional, cable, all that kind of stuff. There's OTT, and now there's YouTube TV as well. A lot of people don't know this, but like 30% of all YouTube users end up watching YouTube on a TV screen. Now, here's the thing with that. Well, if you've run YouTube ads, you know that it's Google ads, right? And so when somebody does something, it's obviously you typically exclude TV screens when you're doing any type of YouTube ads. But with this, we actually target TV screens. And what I found is there's a few things. One, I did this in a direct response way with QR codes that I could track. And then two, I did this, what was it? And when we did this, we not only saw like conversions from those QR codes, like people buying, right? Because we can still track that. But we also saw an uplift in everything, other areas of our marketing with just doing this small spend of YouTube TV. Like our open rates on email got better. We have a huge 200,000 person list for this business here. Our just conversion rate on Facebook, Google, all across the board had like a 5 to 10% bump. And again, the open rates too, we did a stop test after a while. So we started it. We got an average of like a 2% extra open rate on our emails, which is huge for every email, considering we have such a big list. And even if you have a small list, it's huge. So that brand effect that big companies talk about, that us as direct response marketers typically ignore, it's real, right? And there's a weight to that. And that's what I want to show with this. So I want to show kind of how I did that with the YouTube campaigns. And you can test these cheaply without having to go and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on actual TV campaigns to see how it works. So let me find the campaigns real quick. TV, boom. And there's an interesting way I'm using to track this. It's definitely not normal. I had to kind of get creative for this, for tracking. So kind of how I have it set up and how I've done this too. What's cool about YouTube TV is you can target based on still the same targeting options that you have on YouTube, which is like keywords, custom intent audiences, custom affinity audiences, placements, right? So you can still do the same thing, which is awesome. One thing okay, I'm kind of getting excited because I want to go over so many things. But here's how I'm tracking it. Essentially, I have a QR code on the end of these ads. These ads have already been tested and won on YouTube themselves, like the normal digital ads. So I knew these ads would work well. But what we did was the QR code went to a very specific opt-in that I set a URL rule up for on HiRose. If you don't know HiRose, it's just a third-party tracking tool that pretty much allows you to track anything and everything. Gives you really good analytics into kind of like what you're doing. But let's do this month. So here's how I track it though. So I go to sales data. I have a URL rule, like I said, so we'll do the last 7 days. And I don't spend too much on these campaigns. And these are just the direct sales. This doesn't include sales of people that view the ad. So what we can track. So here's the limitations. On YouTube TV, I can track the people that saw the ad, scanned the QR code, and then bought. I can track that because I have a URL rule set up for that. What I can't track is people that saw the ad, never scanned, but ended up seeing other ads, seeing other marketing stuff, and that ad helped convert them because they saw it on TV. That's the part I can't quantify, but what I can say is if we're breaking even on the direct response part, that the branding overall, just getting that exposure is helping in other ways, which is why we saw an increase in our open rates, which is why we saw an increase on other channels. They just converted better once we started doing this. And we tested turning it on and turning it off, and then turning it back on again. We saw it literally when we turned it on, all of those things got a bump. We turned it off, all of them went back down. It was kind of bad for like a month. We turned it back on, all of those things went back up. And then they kind of like stabilized there. But anyway, here's how I'm tracking it. I have, again, a URL rule for, I believe it's called TV opt-in. Boom, here. I'll apply that filter. This tells me for the last week what sales have come in here, just from the direct response side. So I can see again here. And with High Roads, if you used it, it shows you like last click, or the origin source, all that kind of stuff. So I can tell if the origin of this guy was the TV QR code, but then he ended up buying from an email, because I know this was an email source. This guy, his last click and his first click, his origin source, and his last click before he bought came from a QR code. This one, I can tell his origin wasn't actually part of this, and neither was his last click, but some part along that journey, because we can click this guy, he scanned the QR code. So let's see if I can find the... So this shows his whole like customer journey since being a customer, like every single click, every single email ad that he's seen, opt-in, all of it's tracked in there. But yeah, so these are the sales for the last week. If I do quick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17. Let's just say like 1,600 on how much spend. So of these campaigns, only spent $700 on the TV campaigns in the last 7 days. But I just showed you the sales that it brought in from that opt-in specifically, which is only going from the YouTube TV campaigns. 700, definitely made more than 700. Now again, what's cool about this, and I haven't figured out the best way to scale them yet, but, and I'm still working on that, because like scaling these specifically YouTube TV campaigns is a little bit different than other stuff. It's a lot easier with other stuff. With this, you have to track like what's the cost per scan, all that kind of stuff. But our cost per lead on this might be interesting for you to hear. Normal cost per lead for us, like $5 to $8 on YouTube. Cost per lead on the TV campaigns with the right targeting, $3. Because we were able to track the amount of leads we're getting on that opt-in with the amount of spend. So out of this $700, you can do the math we're getting. If you just divide that by 3, that's how many leads we got. So that is that. I'll show you guys the ad so you guys can kind of see it. But yeah, this shows the sales coming from that funnel, which is pretty cool. What else do I want to go over with this? Oh, the view rates. So another thing you'll see a massive difference in. If you've ran traditional YouTube campaigns, you know that your view rate, you're typically trying to shoot for a 20%, right? That's typically what you go for. With TV, it's almost double the normal view rate of whatever your video was. So like you'll get ones like this, it's a 40% view rate, 30%, 30%, 26%, 30%, 29, 31. And that's insane, because what you got to realize is that of the impressions you get, 30% are actually watching 30 seconds or more, because that's what counts as a view. So really cool stuff. And I'm using, again, the same ads that I know worked on YouTube themselves, but now I'm just putting a QR code as a call to action at the end instead of the click the link below type of thing, because there's no thing to click. And if they try to click on their TV and like opt in, you know how hard it would be to type your email via that. So QR code is definitely the best way to go with this. So I'll show you one of the ads so you can kind of see. Oh, some ads limited, dang. Okay, that one, I'm not using that one, good. Preview. Well, let's actually just show the video, actually. I'm not gonna show you the whole video, but you can see part of it. Boom. So this is one
simple but brilliant trick to cool your home in 90 seconds. Tired of hot and stuffy rooms during summer?
Boom.
Do you look at gorgeous girls like this? Or like this girl?
So again, we've already tested this ad, we know it works. At the end, the only difference, you have your same direct response style ad. Then at the end, I literally edited this myself too. I didn't even have our video guy do it, which we have way better. But I just...
You look at women and you're like me later.
Go straight to that. And now you got to think of this. They're on a TV screen, right? And with YouTube, we get to control how long the end of the ad is. Unlike TV, traditional TV, where you you have like that 15 seconds. So if you have a 30-second spot, you have to get the end card in the last 10 seconds essentially, because you need them to scan if you're going to do QR codes. If you're not going to do QR codes, then you have to more send them to a site. It's got to be very brand specific, easy to remember, that kind of stuff. With this though, I have it like on for 40 seconds. I give them time, and then I have a timer, boom, that pops up there. And it gets a lot of scans. It does. So this YouTube TV thing, if you want to test TV, see how it overall lifts your brand for a cheap way. Like I just showed you, we only spent on those campaigns across, ads, we usually spend around $40K a week. But on these campaigns, to see a bump in everything, we're only spending like $100 a day on it. And that's really because I haven't figured out how to scale a lot of these campaigns yet. The keyword ones, there's a few things I can test, but I haven't really had a ton of focus on it. I just noticed that since we started, these are the overall improvements. So anyway, thought I would share this. It was like a little quick golden nugget type of thing. And yeah, hopefully it helps somebody.